said he's grateful they all came back because they could have easily played elsewhere. He said it's a good reflection of the program and they've had to continually adapt to provide a great environment for winning, improvement, and learning. He says having a veteran team this season means they're likely to not have one next year, but he's not worried. They have talented young guys who play and can continue to develop, and that's really the best story of this program.
I think that's a great point. When you have 10 guys coming back, it's a lot easier to have that identity and to carry on what you did last season.
Well, they get the party started with a bucket from Ben Leuston. He's averaging a double-double with 14 points and just over 10 rebounds a game. Had a career best 15 rebounds against Pepperdine. You see the starters there for Weber State.
Yeah, and for UC Irvine, that's going to be a big part of the game, is getting it inside to their big man. That's going to be a huge part for them to have success. Weber State, they need to hit shots. They need to shoot the three really well, and they need to finish the game. They need to finish the game nice and strong, which is what they haven't done early on in the season.
Stressful offensive possession here for Weber State on their first shot there from Blaze Street. No good. Here is the starting five for UC Irvine. And a three on the way and good from Justin Hone. 44 double-digit scoring games in his career.
Well, you see right there, first two possessions, they went inside to their big man, and then that possession, great shot on the outside. That's what the Anteaters want to do if they're going to have success tonight.
High pressure here. A bump on that screen. Dyson Koehler being harassed on the sideline. Hone is all over him. Overplaying on the pass, but Tomley has it. Has to fade away with a hand in his face. And another stressful possession caused by this Anteater defense.
That defensive pressure is exactly what the Anteaters want, especially early in the game, causing Weber State to make tough shots. And that's a tough shot right there in the middle of the key.
Andre Henry, the Big West best defensive player of the year last year, hits his first field goal attempt. It's a quick 7-0 lead for UC Irvine. A deflection, active hands from Devin Tillis. Burris trying to go to work on the baseline. Nowhere to go. It's picked off by Che. Here comes Che up the left side. And the Anteaters having that picture-perfect start that you want to have on the road. Rhythm on offense, that bite on defense, and the experience showing possession after possession. Shot clock under 9. Che, he'll launch for three and hit. It is a perfect 10-0 start for the Anteaters of UC Irvine, picked first in the Big West for a reason.
You can see why they're picked first. This is a dream start for them, not only defensively, which is what I've been most impressed with, the pressure defensively. Weber State hasn't had even a look at the basket. On the other end, offensively, they're knocking everything down.
I mean, they are as connected and five moving as thinking as one on both sides of the floor as you can be. Koehler.
Another tough shot that was forced by great defense from the Anteaters. Weber State's going to have to figure something out early on, or this game's going to get out of hand pretty quick.
The Anteaters, a perfect 4 for 4 from the field. Che with 2 of those knockdowns. They'll go to Devin Tillis. Back to Leuston, their first miss of the game, but he grabs the O board and puts it back in. Timeout, Weber State.
Good timeout from Eric Duff. He sees things aren't starting the way they want. They're not getting stopped defensively. They're not even getting a good look offensively. Things need to change really quickly for the Wildcats.
It has been a tough start for Weber State.
Their defense has been amazing so far. They need to keep that up.
They go with full court pressure out of the timeout. Blaze 3 puts Weber State on the board.
Well, the Anteaters came out swinging. They knocked Weber State pretty hard, causing Eric Duff to call a timeout. I wonder what he said to the Wildcats, and we'll see if it kind of sparked something in them and they can get back into this game.
A good look from Hone from 3. That's a little bit long. Hone shooting 28.6% from 3. That's the lowest of his career. He was at 38% a year ago.
Yeah, we talked earlier about a sense of urgency, and that's one thing I haven't seen from the Wildcats so far. So far the team that's come out gunning has been the Anteaters. So let's see if that pace continues.
Tomley, a 15-foot fadeaway. Off the rim, no good, and Alex Chu grabs the O board. Burris, a good look 3. He hits it. A nice start out of this timeout.
Yeah, definitely. You see momentum changing a little bit. I think that was a great timeout from Eric Duff, and the team's responding.
Fortunate to get that over too, as it was friendly fire that knocked it away.
Well, that's something you see in basketball. A lot of great looks from the three-point line come from an offensive rebound.
A bowl and a China shot. Bent Loyston putting in another pair for him. He has 6 points so far in this game.
That's going to be a tough matchup for the Wildcats to guard him down low. Weber State already is kind of lean and not very deep down low, and so with a big body like that, they're going to be battling all night long.
Burris cut off on the drive, and a foul is going to be called. That is the first foul called here so far today.
So we've seen Miguel Tomley a couple of times kind of force the action a little bit. Talking to Coach Eric Duff, that's something I think he wants Miguel Tomley to do, is be a little bit more aggressive this season. I think he's coming in trying to find his role on the team, and I think he wants him to be a little bit more aggressive. So we've seen that, they just haven't gone in.
Oh, Fury Ujagadele in the game for the first time here for the Anteaters. Tomley being checked by Henry. A good look. Vartiainen off the bench nails the three.
That's his game, and that's one of the keys. If Weber State wants to have a chance to stay in this game, they're going to have to knock down the three-point shot.
14-8. And Weber State has found some of that offensive groove out of that timeout. Ujagadele to the paint, turning from 5, short, got his own, and throws it back out. It eventually goes into the hands of Henry, an air ball on the three-point attempt. Weber State on an 8-2 run after going down 12-0.
Yeah, and it all stemmed from that timeout by Eric Duff. Now, you're starting to see the sense of urgency. It's amazing how a couple of defensive stops, and you hit a couple of shots, how that changes things.
I'm amazed with many times you go on the road. You have to figure out how to manage that storm in the early few minutes. With the Anteaters, they're a different story. They make it to where other teams have to find out how to weather the storm, no matter where they're playing.
And I think that comes from experience. You have 10 returners from last season who were the Big West champs. And so that shows their experience, and that's exactly what they've done here tonight.
And an infraction on the bench here. A bench warning against the Anteaters. And you're seeing the conversation there with Coach Russell Turner. He's just getting confirmation. He's actually communicating quite well. He's not arguing or anything. He immediately turned to his bench and said, guys, back up. Seasoned veteran, one of the more successful coaches you'll find in this game. Vartiainen, a little too long. 4-time Big West Coach of the Year, by the way. 7 regular season titles, 2 conference titles. Offensive foul. See, you know what I love about this guy in Russell Turner is right after this foul was called, he says, get an angle. Instead of him barking at an official, he understands how it's called, respects that, and immediately goes to his team to adjust.
And he's one of those player coaches. As a player, you want to play for a coach who understands the game, and when something happens, doesn't just bark at you, he instructs and teaches you.
He's been a joy to watch up close, no doubt. 3, strong take, and a great battle against Torian Lee.
That was a great battle there, and that's something the Anteaters want to minimize. Blaze Street is phenomenal at penetrating, getting the ball to the basket. They're going to have to really step up the D on Blaze Street to control the game.
Lee running the offense here. Around the screen, and a jumper is good. It's 16-10.
Nice little pull-up off the screen. That's a good action right there.
Ball knocked away. It's available, knocked away again. Tracking it down was Trevor Henning. William Hennig, and anybody who's out there on that floor, you're going to know bumps haven't been fouls tonight. They've really let the hands be active.
They're letting them play, and as a player, you want that. You'd rather have refs let you play, but nothing is coming easy for the Wildcats. The Anteaters have a stifling defense, making it very hard on the Wildcats early on.
Dixon unable to finish there. Here comes Hennig, up to Vartiainen, and a collision in the paint, no call. Vucinic over to Hennig, who hits the J. It's 16-12.
Got knocked down, got back up, hit the shot. That makes that foul feel a little bit better if you're Hennig. But that's what the Wildcats need to do. They need to push the pace. They need to move the ball. And they need to hit the outside shot, which is what we've seen. We've seen Vartainen hit a couple, and then Hennig right there hitting the outside shot. That's one of the keys that they need if they want to stay in this game.
The Anteaters of UC Irvine have had a huge part of 9 titles in 11 years, whether it be regular season or tournament championship. They come in with big expectation, but so does Eric Duff and the Weber State Wildcats. It's interesting. UC Irvine has assistant coach Julian Smith, who was a part of that Montana State staff that won the Big Sky Conference tournament. So they are familiar with a lot of what's going on.
They are, and you can see they've built a culture around winning. And that is something that's tough to do at the Division I level.
Well, I'll tell you what,
little argument going on
today because it's like being out at the park tonight.
Hey, they need to bring their pads and their helmets a little bit, but hey, that's good basketball. That's what you want to see.
He knows unselfishness. He knows dedication, commitment, all the things that go into being a father, and it feels like he carries that over to what he is as a teammate.
And you can see that how he's leading this strong Anteater defense. And what's really neat about that is you realize that basketball is more than just a game. And when you start to bring being a mentor, being a father, bring your family into it, you really see the importance of what these student athletes are doing each and every day. So many kids look up to them, and especially being a dad, it gives them a lot more motivation to be a leader.
Well, you played, especially here in the state of Utah, with probably a number of guys who either had been married or were fathers and things like that. It is a little bit different around them, and I know in the Big Sky Conference there were some dads that really talked about how important that was to them in their basketball journey.
It is, because you're on a stage where not only can you be an example to your kid about how to work hard, how to persevere through challenges, but also you realize that there's a lot of great opportunities the game of basketball can present. And to be able to show that to your kid and to people watching, I think it's one of the main motivations that keep you going.
Sadiq Moore in the game for the first time for Weber State. Nice move with Chittish on the reverse, and after going down 12-0, Weber State is on a 14-4 run.
It's like a prize fight. You have one fighter come out, go a couple of big blows, get some good punches in. Now Weber State punching back, and that's a big move inside, and that's what Weber State needs more of. They need to kind of bolster up that inside offense to stay even with the Anteaters.
Redfield no good on the J. Rebound comes down to Hennig. And after a red-hot start offensively for the Anteaters, they have cooled off a bit.
Coach Duff must have said something about defense during that timeout.
Koehler, a good look. Just missed. That would have given Weber State their first lead of the night.
And that's something that Koehler's going to have to work on. He's been a little cold the first couple of games. For Weber State to be successful, he's got to knock down those shots.
Well, last season when he was on, this team was really tough to stop. Great hands defensively by Torian Lee. Gets the takeaway. Now throws it up for Dixon, and the freshman will earn a trip to the free throw line.
And that's that pressure defense again. They're making it tough for Weber State to even breathe out there. They're not. And as a coach for the Anteaters, that's exactly what you want to see from your team. You want to see them come out, play hard defensively, leads to easy buckets on the offensive end.
Well, you mentioned the experience on Russell Turner's squad. Well, they have some newcomers they're very excited about. And this freshman from San Diego, Jurian Dixon, two-time league MVP while he was there at St. Augustine. Going to the free throw line here. Boy, his energy and his bounce just jumps out to you.
That's the main thing. Initially that jumps out at you. But also, too, you can tell that energy he brings, it's contagious. It's going to his other teammates. And as a player, when you play with those high-energy guys, it makes you better. And that's the type of leadership, and that's the type of culture you're seeing with the Anteaters. And that's exactly why they're 4-0 and, picked to finish first in their conference.
Jurian Dixon, 3 for 4 at the free throw line during this season. This team has been excellent with free throw shooting. They had a 14 for 14 game at the line. They're one of only 3 teams to have a game without a free throw miss. It's a 5-point lead for the Anteaters. 19-14. UC Irvine on top of Weber State. A great battle here tonight in Ogden. Plays 3, looking for Chu, and that was kicked out of bounds. Chu wanted them to set the clock at 20. It'll stay at 15.
Again, nothing easy for the Wildcats, even on that possession. I mean, tough, stifling defense from the Anteaters.
3 to Holden. Clock under 10. He'll take it himself high off the glass and in.
And for Weber State, that's what you need Blaze 3 to do. He's kind of the engine that runs the team. Not only is he going to make plays for other teammates, but he needs to get in the paint to put pressure on the Anteater defense to open up shots.
What a great battle in the paint tonight between Lunston and Alex Chu. Weber State with a stop. Blaze 3 flying down the lane. And a foul is called before the shot attempt.
I kind of like to see Loishton and Chu in a kind of a boxing matchup. That'd be something I think I'd pay to see that. I think it'd have been more entertaining than the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight.
Well, but especially with how physical those two players are, I love that they're letting them bang. They're letting them, nothing out of control, just good hard-nosed basketball. You love to see this. I like the way the game is officiated tonight, especially with how hard everybody's out there playing.
Exactly. And as a coach, you don't mind if the refs let the players play. You just want to see on both ends, which is what we're seeing. I think they're doing a great job letting the guys play. And
an extra possession for Weber State. Plays 3. Nice move. Couldn't get it. A push off by Chu. And a loose ball foul to give possession back to UC Irvine.
And they will call some fouls.
That you have to call.
You have to. You can't get out of control here. But again, I like what I'm seeing early on from the officials. I like that they're letting the guys play. And as a fan, you want to see that. You want to see guys in there playing, battling hard.
Foul out by the perimeter. That will be the 5th team foul against the Weber State Wildcats. When you were at this time of the year and you have a lot of guys taking new roles of ownership that are out there like Weber State does this year, how long did it take to really feel that out and get the type of trust that you want where it shows up as much on the court as it does off the court?
I think it takes a handful of games. I think the first few games like we're seeing now, you're still in that I don't want to say that honeymoon phase, but you're still in that discovery phase. And you need multiple different environments to see how you respond.
Well, I tell you, Vartiainen has had some great improvements this past offseason. Defense has been a part of that. His contest at the rim was outstanding. Inbound, laying it up and in is Bent Lushton. And for Lushton here so far tonight, he has 8 points to lead all scorers.
And that's what we talked about in the beginning of the game. That's one of the keys for the Anteaters is to get the ball inside, let Loishton do his thing, especially because Weber State isn't very deep down low. And Alex Chu's already in foul trouble. That's why he's sitting on the bench right now. So the Anteaters need to continue to do that.
Chu with 2 fouls. As you mentioned, straightaway 3 is short. A lot of these shots have been online for Weber State from the outside, but they're 2 for 7.
Online, but what do they say? Close only counts in horseshoes.
That's for sure. Empty trip here after the jumper was no good from Henry. Vartiainen looking inside, and he will go to Burris. Burris backing down here on Tillis. Outside Tomlin. They'll guard him tightly and a little too tightly. It's the 4th team foul here that will send us to a timeout. 21-16. UC Irvine up by 5 here in Ogden.
.21 from the field. Weber State's kind of struggled shooting all night, and that's large part due to the tough defense the Anteaters are playing.
Tomlin short. He's 0 for 3. Gets his own. Back up, no good. They have had a defensive emphasis on staying tight with him.
They have. They know he's a shooter, and they're not giving him really any room to operate. And so every shot that he's put up, he's been contested. And as a coach, that's exactly what you want to see on the defensive end. You understand guys are going to hit shots. You just want to make them work for it. And that's what they're making Miguel Tomlin do.
Tomlin, senior from Surrey, British Columbia. Torian Lee is on the bench right now for the Anteaters. He's a freshman from Surrey, British Columbia. It's interesting when we talk about the international games, one thing, but Canada really over the last, especially 10 to 15 years, had an amazing surge, not just of interest in the game, but some incredible talent.
They have. We've really seen the resurgence of Canadian basketball, and I think that goes all the way back to Steve Nash. I think he's one of the greatest point guards in the country. He's Canadian. I think with the success he's had, and I think he's been someone that's really propelled Canadian basketball to where we're seeing it now, where they're one of the top countries in the world at basketball now. Some great players that are in the NBA right now, great college players, great Olympic team, and we're really seeing that resurgence.
I remember meeting with Cody John right here at Weber State University. I said, "Who's your favorite hockey team growing up?" He said, I didn't have a favorite hockey team. And it really started to show there was a window of time where some kids, who were playing basketball actually had no connection to that sport. And in Canada, that was unheard of before that window of time. Here's Miles Shea, and he's double teamed along that sideline. He'll get it over to Loyston. Clock is down to 6. Justin Hone inside. Loyston turns, puts it on the rim, no good. Loose ball, rebound, out of bounds to Weber State. Boy, the water is really red down there in that paint.
A lot of big bodies in there battling, trying to get the rebound, and I'm just glad I don't have to be out there. I think I broke my nose a couple of times playing basketball. I'd probably have a third one if I was out there tonight.
The collisions on these loose balls. You love it because you'll see stuff like this in March. And to see it tonight with two teams, the way that they're fighting, Weber State can definitely sense that hunger to get a win tonight. And for the Anteaters, they're constantly wanting to prove more and more just how good they can be early in this season. They've been ranked high in the mid-major polls. They've been getting a lot of respect in a number of different areas with Ken Palm. Here's Burris with the clock at 6. The mid-ranger is short.
One thing you'll see with both these programs is the culture. And you're always going to see two programs that have a storied culture, playing basketball the right way. They're going to come out and play hard every night. And you see that with both these teams. No one wants to give an inch. They want to battle, and I expect it to be a battle until the end of the game.
Well, the depth of the culture you're talking about. I mean, Russell Turner has been with UC Irvine a long time, and Eric Duft, while this is his third year as head coach, I mean, he's no stranger to this program.
No, he was a longtime assistant for Coach Ray for 16 years, and so he's been through a lot of the ups and downs at Weber State, recruited Damian Lillard, had many opportunities to play in the NCAA tournament. And so, again, that's the culture of both these teams, and we're seeing that tonight.
Tomley, a step back, but harassed. Inside, Vucinic. They bumped and fouled.
You can tell the Anteaters prepared well for this game. Just looking at Tomley, again, I mentioned it earlier, he hasn't had an inch to shoot the ball, and so everything is coming. He's having to work really hard for it, and credit the Anteaters for their defense on him.
21-18. Weber State won for their last 8. And for the Anteaters, one of their last 6.
It's a defensive battle, and as a shooter, you know, it's nice when you see a little bit of daylight. These games are kind of tough when you know that if you get an open shot just like that, you got to knock it in because you may not get another one.
Well, both teams were cold, but Blaze Threet is 4 of his last 5, and we have a tie game with 5 minutes left in this first half.
And with Blaze Threet, you know he's good at getting to the basket, but when he hits the 3, that makes him even more of a dangerous player.
Both teams with 16 fouls now, 4:52 left in this first half.
Speaking of Blaze Threet, last game at Hawaii had a career high 27 points. And if you go back and look at the tape of that game, I think every single bucket he had except one was a layup. And that shows his strength getting to the basket. So when you see him hit a 3, again, that's good news for Coach Duft. But the Anteaters, that's one of the keys. They need to slow down his penetration.
An explosive first step for him, no doubt. He's used that to his advantage. A fade away from 10 off the glass and no good from Koehler. Here's an open look on the right side. On the way, no good from the freshman Dixon. Loose ball foul, and this is going to go against the Anteaters. That'll mean free throws, shooting 1-1 here. The foul called on O'Fury Udagadele. He's the Big West All-Academic team member 3 times with this program. High academic standard with the Anteaters, not just what they do on the basketball court. And it's Blaze Threed at the free throw line. Blaze with 9 first half points.
And again, Blaze Threed is the engine for the Wildcats. When he's feeling it, when he's doing his thing, that's when they're at their best, and he's making plays for not only himself, for his teammates.
Missed on the front end. Dixon the board. A nice pass, and on the move, Evans is going to go to the free throw line here. Kyle Evans, that pass, I thought, from Dixon really set him up to be able to continue running in full stride there and get an opportunity at the rim.
It did. That was a great feed. Set him up perfectly to draw the foul. But one thing, if you're the Wildcats, you can't allow that to happen. Off of a free throw, giving up basically a wide open layup just because you didn't get back. And that's something, I'm sure Coach Duck will say something at halftime, because you don't, in a game like this, when points are at a premium, you don't want to give up anything easy.
Well, you hate to bring something up like this, but in the game against Hawaii, some key missed free throws from Weber State really hurt them. And they're going up against a great free throw shooting team here today. While it is in the first half, Weber State misses the front end of a 1-and-1, and Evans hits both free throws here. That's an important exchange throughout the course of 40 minutes.
It is, especially in a close game. You want every point you can get, and you can't leave things on the free throw line. And again, at Hawaii, they make a couple of free throws. That game doesn't go into overtime, and they win that game. And
great defensive play by Udagadele as he knocks it off the leg of Burris.
And again, we're seeing that pressure defense. That's something that the Anteaters have built the legacy on, and that's why they're such a good team.
And so Leuston back in. Important final 4-14 of this first half. Weber State was down 12-0 in a blink to start this game off. Rallied back, eventually had this game tied up at 21. It's a 2-point lead right now, and a block by Dyson Koehler. A foul is going to be called, and they're going to call it on Koehler. That has certainly brought on the boo birds from the crowd. We take a look at the replay. Koehler's block was there. I didn't see what happened with the left hand with that replay. So unless something happened with the left hand, not so sure.
You know, it might be a tough call, but I think anytime as a player, when you really swipe down kind of violently, even if you don't hit the player, a lot of times the refs are going to call that. And again, refs are letting the play, but you know that's going to happen.
Now that left hand may have gotten Leuston in the face, but as I'm saying, it's an obstructed view.
Yeah.
Leuston with 9 points here in this first half. He's a big that can draw a lot of contact. And even though he just missed that free throw, he is a great free throw shooter. He's 19 of 24 now so far on the year. A takeaway by Torian Lee. And Lee, well, not going to go. Loose ball on the ground. A good look three from Dixon. Short. Loose ball foul, and it's on Weber State.
Again, tough pressure defense. And that's one of the keys for the Anteaters. Control the penetration from Blaze Threed. And that's what we're seeing. They're making it really tough on him to get into the lane.
3:41 left to play here in this first half. The Anteaters up by 3 in a rugged, rough first half here in Ogden. Point lead as of now. They're trying to make it bigger because they've been able to get to the free throw line regularly.
And that's the sign of a good team. In a game like this where it's a defensive struggle, you're going to get fouled. You're going to go to the free throw line. And if you can withstand that early pressure, work the ball, get it inside to force the other team to foul and knock them in, that's how you win games. And so that's what we're seeing the Anteaters do. They're not hitting the shots, but they're getting to the line, and now they have a 5-point lead.
Evans hits both free throws. Kyle Evans, the Colorado State transfer, puts his team up by 5 now. Evans with 6 points in this game so far. Perfect at the free throw line. Throwing it across the river in the corner for three, and it's good. A nice knockdown by Hennig. His first bucket of the game. It's 26-24.
And that was a big shot because the Anteaters had the momentum pulling to that 5-point lead. So having Weber State hit that shot, that's a big shot for him, and especially for the freshman Hennig. That's a great look.
Beautiful pass inside for Evans. For Hennig, that was his first 3-point hit. He now has 5 points in the game. He has 3 rebounds to go with it as well. 28-24 the score. Burris in the paint. Koehler also in the paint, rejected by Evans. What a stretch of play he has had.
Nothing coming easy inside at all for both teams, but especially for the Wildcats. Again, with that big body inside, they're going to have to go up strong, and if they don't, it's going to be sent to the stands just like we saw there.
Deep into the corner to inbound here. Koehler, a look out of the corner, and he knocks it down.
Another big shot for the Wildcats right there to stay in the game, and especially for Dyson Koehler. He's been kind of struggling from the three-point line, and as a shooter, when you've been struggling and you see the ball finally go in, it's like a breath of fresh air. So we'll see if he can ride that and hit a couple more.
Koehler was 0 for 4 before that hit. A turnover. Weber State basketball in a 1-point game.
It's that prize fight. It's going back and forth.
You come into a game in November, you wouldn't think these two teams were in the same conference, and they're not. But if you sat here courtside and you heard the benches, the coaches, and you could see the intensity out there on the court, you would think this was their second matchup of the season, that they were in the same conference, and that everybody knew everything about the opponent. It's incredible. Tomley the jumper, no. The scouting report, the depth of this is so obvious.
Exactly, and you can tell that's a sign of two well-coached teams, well-prepared teams, and again, that goes back to the culture that both these programs have.
Yeah, the experience and the toughness that exists out there, it's all been on display. What a great first half here tonight in Ogden. Weber State, 3 of their last 4 from the outside. They're still trying to get Tomley going. He is 0 for 5 from the field.
And again, nothing easy for Tomley. You just saw there, he tried to create something, but just couldn't. And again, the Anteaters getting to the free throw line again.
It'll be Loyston headed there. And for Loyston, 9 points and 4 rebounds so far, but I love the way he runs the floor.
Well, especially for his size, you don't see too many 7'1" guys at that size running the floor that easily. Kind of like a big deer galloping down there. But again, not only is he big, but he's coordinated. He runs quick. He's got good hands on him, too. He's got some nice soft hands, nice touch to the basket. I've been impressed with what I've seen so far.
And a great start to this game. He's had a great start to this season. Averaging a double-double. Mentioned his career best 15 rebounds in the game against Pepperdine. Anteaters now 7 of 9 from the stripe. And after a 12-0 start, Weber State punched back pretty hard, and it has been oh so tight since then.
It's been tight, and I think it's going to continue to be like this, just knowing these teams and how we're seeing the game play out. And as a player, you kind of see when the game first starts, you don't know how the flow of the game is going to be, and then as you get into it, you kind of see this is going to be a battle. I think till the final buzzer.
Burris bullying his way, but going up against some size, has it blocked. Che thought he saved it, but he's called out of bounds.
Hey, just what we saw there. If you're Weber State, you have to go strong. If you go inside, you better be ready to hit the floor. But if you want to try to finish down there, they're going to have to really go up strong, because right now those bigs for UC Irvine are just kind of sending the ball into the stands, is what we like to say.
Look at Russell Turner, man. His focus and intensity. Same thing with Eric Duff. You would think this was an elimination game. And it's awesome to watch these guys battle back and forth. Here's Tomley outside. Burris, he's hit a 3 earlier, and he's hit another one. Burris now 2 for 2 from the outside, as he has 6 points, and this game just continues to get better and better. But now Weber State, their first lead. And answer on the other end from Loyston.
The first lead didn't last very long. But this is the kind of game it's going to be going back and forth. And so, again, open shots are going to be at a premium.
Burris. Well, he can't hit this three, but he will get 3 free throws.
And for Burris, when he knocks down those threes, I mean, you look at him, he's a big physical body inside. You're used to him getting rebounds, getting putbacks. But when he's hitting the three, again, that's icing on the cake. That's something you don't expect, but when it's there, you appreciate it.
There is a fearlessness with him when he gets into the paint. I mean, he's 6'7". He's no small guy, but many times he'll go up against the guys who have size on him. He uses his physicality well, and he is very strong. He has great touch on that outside shot.
He's strong. He's got good footwork. And, again, great touch on the outside shot. But we're seeing that with Leuston, too. I mean, big 7-footer, step back and hit a wide-open three. I think, he's got good touch as well. And so that's why these teams are so evenly matched. And it's really good to see. And I'm a fan of the game. And so when I look at a game like this, it's nice to see two teams that are evenly matched, good culture, good coaching. It's just a treat.
What a welcome addition to this team. 11 of 13 from the free throw line now this year. And he is 6 for 10 from the outside to start this season. Weber State back up by 1. It's 33-32. The shot clock is off. And the Anteaters will play for the final shot of this first half. Shea back to Hone, around the screen of Leuston, into the paint, a pump fake and a score. Nicely done, Devin Tillis. The clock down to 2 and 1, a travel. And the Anteaters are going to use the timeout. 30-second timeout here with 1.4. What a well-designed play and excellent execution there on what appeared to be their final possession of this half, but now they'll get another one.
They'll get another shot at it. Again, like you said, well-designed play and heads-up defense. I mean, catching Tomley off guard, causing him to, forcing the travel. Again, that's something, though, for the Wildcats, you got to be a little bit more careful.
He surveys, lobs, it's home for 3. What a finish to the first half for the Anteaters of UC Irvine. They get a bucket, they get a takeaway, and a big three-pointer to take it to the break.
Big three-pointer, and that was a well-executed play. And for the Wildcats, you can't give that up right at the half.
All right, let's head on down. Karen McManaman with Coach Duff.
Coach, you told me heading into tonight's matchup that this was going to be a physical battle. What does your team need to do to close out the second half?
Well, I mean, they're a physical team, really good defensively. We got to make sure that we're limiting them to one shot. That's really where the game's gotten away from us, is their offensive rebounding. So we got to make sure we're doing a much better job there, and then we can get in transition, and it'll be a lot easier for us to play offense.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, Kara. When we cover this year, they locked it down on Pepperdine in the second half. This is a team with supreme confidence. They feel like their ceiling is nowhere in sight. Also a team that gives up under 4 second chance points per game. They are tough. They ended the first half really well. They start the second half with the ball, and in the corner, a shot fake, stepping inside is going to be Henry. Deep inside, and foul is going to be Leuston. A trip to the free throw line.
When a guy that big gets the ball that deep, there's really nothing you can do but foul. I mean, you can't, if you're Weber State, you can't let the ball get that deep to a player with that size and that skill. But what Coach Turner said just recently, the Anteaters are going to come out very strong on defense. He said they let up a little bit in the first half, gave Weber State some open threes. He doesn't want to see that in the second half. So I bet we're going to see a lot more intensity on the defensive end from the Anteaters.
Leuston with 14 points now here in the game. To go with 4 rebounds. Continues to be a terror inside. He leads all scorers here so far tonight. But one thing he hasn't done well is shoot so well from the free throw line. He's 3 for 6, and coming into tonight, he was 18 out of 22.
Yeah, uncharacteristic. I mean, he hit his only 3 of the game. Maybe he's got to go back to the three-point line. But again, there's that suffocating D you see on Miguel Tomley, not letting him get any look at the basket.
A takeaway for this defense from UC Irvine. Weber State, that was their 8th turnover so far in the game. Home will drive the base strong. Dump it off, and the layup is good from Devin Tillis. Well, he looked away from that screen and got that step.
That was a great move, great finish at the basket. Now for Weber State, this is kind of a danger zone. They need to execute offensively and kind of stop the bleeding. They don't want to go down. Don't let UC Irvine have another 10-12-0 run like they had to start the game.
Now it's an 8-0 run right now. The way they ended that first half was masterful. And they've started the second half well here.
Yeah, I think at the end of the first half, they had 5 points in less than 10 seconds to get the lead, and they're just continuing this on in the second half. Weber State needs to do something to stop that.
Blaze three. A great performance so far tonight. With the shot clock winding down, he'll let it fly and knock it down. Boy, he is 5 of his last 6. 12 points here tonight.
Again, you like to see that if you're the Wildcats. If nothing else is going on, throw it up at the buzzer and, it goes in.
Choi out of the corner. No good. Weber State getting that bucket. Chu with a little floater. Boy, he's added that to his game, and it has helped him nicely.
And if you're the Wildcats, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to push the tempo. You want to get easy buckets.
A block at the rim there by Koehler. Weber State on a quick 5-0 burst. Chu for the tie. In and out. Here comes Hone and the Anteaters.
What a great athletic play by Dyson Koehler, and that's what you want to see more of.
Tillis with an answer from way outside. Devin Tillis, who came into tonight 5 of 7 from the outside.
Well, just when you think Weber State's back in it, they make a little run, it gets shut right down. But that's what you would expect against two good teams. I think it's going to be this battle back and forth throughout the rest of the half.
Foul called away from the ball. It'll be against the Anteaters. It's going to go against Andre Henry.
One thing with two very well-coached teams, very well-prepared teams, especially with this culture, is neither team is going to give up. So you're never too far in or too far out of the game. And so I would expect to see this back-and-forth battle throughout the rest of the second half.
Three throws it up for Chu. Chu had foul trouble in that first half. Missed a lot of it. It's deep in the paint, and Leuston rejects it. Off to the other side, it's Che. Bumping into Koehler. He fades from 10, misfires. Leuston and board back up. He's fouled. Boy, he is all over the place in the restricted area, both ends.
He's a tough cover. And again, not only does he have size, but he's got good footwork. He's quick on his feet. And again, points in the paint again. That's something Weber State really needs to improve on. They need to limit the points in the paint for the Anteaters so they can get back in the game. And with two, he's in foul trouble now, so they're going to have to bring some help in off the bench and see if they can get a stop.
The way that these coaches have been working with their players, they have moments there during timeouts and free throw situations. They're talking with individuals like they were in the corner of a boxing ring between rounds. Well, I mean, the pep talks. Michael Wilder was sitting there talking into the ear of Miles Chang, like he was needing to go back out there and win this 8th round.
Well, that's kind of what we're seeing. We do the analogy of a fight because you got these two teams that are well prepared, well coached, going back and forth.
High off the glass and in. Blaze three, putting all the moves on display tonight. Che quickly up the other end. Goes with the left hand, tried to leave it off for Leuston. It's stolen away. Up the court, here comes three. Through traffic, knocked away, off the knee of three. And it will go back to UC Irvine. The transition defensive effort from UC Irvine just continues to jump out. Hone had a long way to go to chase him down there, and great job by Tillis to make it change direction.
Well, nothing is coming easy, and that's the sign of a great defensive team. You're never out on a play, and if you're Blaze 3, if you're the Wildcats, you're always looking over your shoulder thinking, hey, someone's there. There's not going to be something wide open.
Hone around the screen of Leuston. Takes takes it with the up and under, can't get it. The putback is good. Devin Tillis, right place, right time. A number of times tonight, he has 9.
And again, offensive rebounds. Offensive rebounds not only lead to easy putbacks, but great shots. And so that's one thing Coach Duff mentioned before halftime. He wanted to limit the second half.
Andre Henry all over Tomlin. Foul's going to be called.
Getting a little chippy there.
But the defense of Henry against Tomlin away from the ball. They have made everything tough for Miguel Tomlin.
I think they're you know, they call it the Steph Curry defense, where you're chasing them all around, you're not giving them any inch. And that's what he's doing. He's a coach is just saying that's the defensive player of the year in our league. I can see that. He's a beast defensively. He's not letting Miguel Tomlin have any look.
Well, one of the reasons why is he had no fouls coming into that possession. Pushed the envelope. And if you get called for a foul, you get called for a foul. That battle continues.
Yep.
Tomlin's going to have to get it out by the center court line. Shot clock at 10. Tomlin around the screen. The best look he's had all night. It's long. Koehler with a big board. And it's taken away by Hone. Great hands, great hustle by Hone. Now takes it the other way and one. Justin Hone with some outstanding moments here tonight. He has 8 points, a free throw to go with it, and a chance to get the lead back up to 10. UC Irvine with a burst to start this second half. Hone getting it done on both ends. It's 49-40. Anteaters on top.
South Dakota. He said he committed to UC Irvine as soon as they offered, and that school and this program has changed his life in more ways than he could have ever imagined. In this era of the transfer portal, he said the grass isn't always greener, and he came back to finish what he started, and that's play in a March Madness tournament. Tony, back to you.
Hell yeah. Here in a building of purple, and he's hoping to get his team to run the blue carpet in March. Shooting over the oar was Blaze Street, no good. It's a 10-point lead, and Hone has really been the star at the end of that first half and into this second half. Leuston has been a star all night long. He now has 18.
The Wildcats just don't really have an answer for him inside, and that's something they're going to need to fix if they want to get back into this game. And you talk about Hone, he's been kind of the battery. He's been kind of the fuel for this Anteater team, not only hitting shots on the outside, but getting the team going and getting the ball inside as well. Now, the Wildcats need to do something to get a good look at the basket. And again, the Anteaters, tough defensive team, even better in the second half, and the Wildcats are seeing that.
Well, it just feels like any 50-50 ball, they are going to get it. Leuston open for 3. That's short. And the rebound is grabbed by Vartiainen. Seven-0 run. Blaze 3. Open to put an end to that. Gets deep in the paint. Here's Koehler in rhythm. Hits an important 3.
That was important for the Wildcats. That was a big shot just to stop the bleeding and at least get them back in the game, because Weber State, they're kind of in that danger zone right now.
The lead is cut down to 9. Dyson Koehler, his second 3-point knockdown. 52-43.
He does, and these next 5 minutes of the game are going to be really critical for the Wildcats. They need to get stops defensively, and they need to score. I think they need to really do something to get Miguel Tomlin in the game. So far, he's 0 for 6. Hasn't really done anything, hit a couple of free throws, but he's their second leading scorer. They need to get him involved.
The Anteaters, 5 for 10 from the field here in the second half. There goes Henry, having a lean on that baseline, and too many steps. It's a turnover.
And for the Wildcats, that's what you want to see, force a turnover. And now they need to see if they can get a good shot at the other end, which is really tough with this Anteater defense, especially in the second half. And when we talked about that, they haven't given up more than 28 points yet in the second half so far, and it doesn't look like they're going to do it again tonight.
Things have been tough to come by offensively at times for Weber State throughout different portions of the night. They've been able to hit some outside shots, 8 of 16 overall, to kind of keep themselves into this position. If the offense is going to find the consistency it needs the rest of the way, where does it start?
It starts with Blaze Street. Again, he needs to continue to create, try to get in, put pressure on the defense. so we can get outside shots, or so Weber State can get outside shots. Just like that with Viliame of Arteain, and he needs to get going too. The Wildcats rely quite a bit on him to hit those outside shots, and so by Blaze 3 putting pressure on the defense, they'll get those.
A two-hand jam from Kyle Evans to respond and end what was a quick 6-0 spurt for Weber State. The lead is at 8. Backing him down. Vucinic throws it back. It's picked off.
Again, nothing coming easy for the
Nice
Wildcats.
pass on the move. It's Henry, and the lead is back to 10.
Good transition. Again, anytime Weber State makes a little headway, the Anteaters step up the defense and come and hit some buckets to pull back ahead.
Fouled and one. Henning cuts it back down to 8. Boy, he has had some really nice moments, this freshman from North Bend, Washington.
So far, I mean, he's a true freshman. This has been probably his best game of the season so far. He's hit some timely buckets at a big 3 in the first half. That and one right here. That's big for the Wildcats just to keep them in the game because, again, anytime they make a little headway, the Anteaters are right back. They answer with some quick buckets to keep this lead. And that's something that, again, nothing's going to come easy the rest of the way.
Well, Hennig, as you mentioned, hit that three-pointer earlier. He was 1 for 7 from deep for that knockdown. He completes the three-point play. Hennig tonight now with 8 points, and the deficit is 7. Good spacing, nice cut, but a deflection there by Blaze 3. Long court pass ahead, it's Hennig. What a night for the freshman. He has 10, and he's perfect from the floor.
That's the type of possession you want. Good defense, good offense, but again, Anteaters come right back with a big shot. They're not giving anything up.
Justin Hone has had the answer for everything, and Weber State has responded every single time that UC Irvine has made a push. What a great fight here tonight.
Again, as a fan of basketball with two good teams, this is what you love to see. I mean, good defense. One team scores, the other team comes in, makes a big shot, going back and forth. Again, it's going to be like this the rest of the way, so buckle up.
59-53. The feeling on the floor and the vibe around these coaches is as if there was some sort of a rivalry involved in this. It's intense, it's physical, and every possession feels personal.
It does, and it doesn't feel like a game in November.
At all. It feels like that late February key matchup. It's going to decide seeding in the postseason. It just has all the feels.
It feels like a conference game, and I think this is the first time these two teams have met since 2012. They haven't played each other in a while, so it's good to see that. And as a coach, big 3 right there from Dyson Koehler.
Koehler cuts the lead in half. And the fans start to rise to their feet here at the Event Center. Hone has answered every punch. He's long on this one. Rebound comes down to Vartiainen. Weber State is trailed by as many as 12 2 different times here tonight.
And every time they've come back, but again, whenever Weber State comes back and makes a run, the Anteaters make a run back. So you're never too far in or out of the game.
Matchup in the paint. Drop step high off the glass. What a play there by Vucinic. It's 59-58. What a run for the Wildcats.
And you said this, the intensity we're feeling not only from the coaches, but now the fans are getting involved. Doesn't feel like a game in November.
Shot fake, stepping inside, nice. Dump off, and it's blocked by Vucinic. As Leuston was about to take it, Hone takes the loose ball. Outside, a 3 on the way from Lee. And a big outside bucket there to get the lead back to 4. It ends what was a 7-0 run.
And that's kind of a heartbreaker for Weber State. They play tough defense, save the ball out of bounds, and it goes right to a 3-point shooter. But again, you know, Anteaters respond. Every time Weber State makes a little run and looks like they're going to take the lead or tie it up, Anteaters say, no way, hit a big shot.
Vucinic against Leuston. Reverse side. Count the basket. He'll get a free throw. The bench comes pouring out. And congratulations to their teammates for the way they're playing. Chest bumps happening all along the bench. It's a 2-point game. A free throw coming when we return. And in the battle, bumps have been strong, and it continues to go back and forth. 62-60. UC Irvine on top. Don't go anywhere.
Problem. Great game. I mean, two great teams battling it out. And again, 1-point game. It's going to come down to the last buzzer. No team is going to give anything up, and you're going to see hustling. You're going to see hard defense, and this is exactly what you want to see as a fan.
Chu is back in the game, but what a stretch there by Vucinic on both ends.
That was the best stretch I think he's had so far this year. Not only offensively, but had some great defensive plays as well.
And over the top of that screen is Hone. He's guarded by Koehler. Henry looking for a posting up Tillis. He'll get it to him. Tomley cuts it off on the base. A tie up. He gets it back and scores it. Devin Tillis. He had a career high 25 in that win over Pepperdine. He had 11 rebounds to go with it too. The senior from Los Angeles. It's another timely bucket for the Anteaters. Weber State has been great from the outside tonight. That has not included Tomley. He is 0 for 6 overall from the floor.
Yeah, if you were to tell me Tomley would only have 2 points at this point in the game, I'd say that the Wildcats would have been down a lot more. But again, right in the game, other guys are stepping up, but I'm going to expect to see him hit a couple shots by the end of the night. He's too good of a player to just lay down. I think the Wildcats are going to get him involved, and but again, credit the defense the Anteaters are playing on him.
Oh, great defensive attempt for the steal, but now it's a quick 5-on-4. Horn goes to Leuston. A foul is called before the shot. And it's a blocking foul against Alex Chu. Never Alex Chu, that would be number 4.
That's a tough call. It's one of those bang-bang plays. Chu's trying to make the right play. I'm glad I'm not a ref these days. I think it'd be one of the toughest jobs on the planet.
Well, that means Vucinic is coming in the game, but that's not necessarily bad news with the way that he is playing.
No, the way he's playing, I think he's doing really well. So I'm not too. If I'm Weber State, I'm not too upset about that.
Bumping, backing, Tillis outside. Shea for 3 and he hits. For Shea tonight, he comes down there with his second 3-point knockdown. He has 6 points.
Again, Wildcats, they get within 1-2 points. Just can't get over the hump because the Anteaters always have a good response.
67-63. Shea went around the screen of Tillis, thought he was trying to give it back to him, and now it's a turnover. The Wildcats shooting 70% from the field in this second half. 58% from the field for UC Irvine. Henning had it, a foul away from the ball. This will go against home. Well, that is team foul number 7. And that'll mean 1-and-1 free throws here. We'll see who's shooting them. I think it's Vucinic.
Let's see if the Wildcats can capitalize on the free throw line. You mentioned they're 70% for the half. They're not getting a whole lot of open looks, but the ones they are getting, they're making, which is what you want.
Weber State had a tough time hitting some key free throws at Hawaii. Tonight they're 8 for 10. They're going up against a team that has been outstanding from the free throw line as a team. UC Irvine is 10th in the country in free throw shooting at 81.6%. They're 11 for 15 tonight.
What do they say? Close games almost more often than not come down to hitting free throws.
I believe that every coach loses 7 seconds of their life for every missed free throw, especially if it's on the front end of a one.
They're 7 seconds right now. Coach Duff just lost.
Shea Swirling out from the left side. The Anteaters of UC Irvine, 4-0 on the season. A very impressive 4-0, trying to get a big win on the road against a team hungry to get a victory after that last road trip. Around the screen, there goes home with the pedal down off the glass. Nice take.
That's a tough move, and I mean, finishing strong over the big. That was a good move.
Vucinic puts it on the deck. Tomlin goes back to him. Vucinic against Leuston. What a great battle in the paint. And for Vucinic, he now has 10 points on the game. And he's had to come in and play a lot more minutes because the foul trouble with Chu.
He's stepped up really well in the absence of Chu with his foul trouble. And again, this is the best game I think he's had so far this year.
Che, bumped by Burris, no call. Goes into the paint, shot fakes, turns. Looking, shot clock at 10, plenty of time. Here comes home. He's had some timely buckets here tonight. So is Leuston. Gets Vartiainen off his feet, no call. Loose ball rebound, fought for. Tomley's got it.
And again, they're letting them play, and as a fan, you like that. You like seeing it come down to the wire. You don't want the refs to dictate the game, and they're letting these guys play.
Three cut off by Leuston. Tomlin looking for his first field goal of the night. Guarded heavily by Henry. Henry, the defensive player of the year in the Big West last season. Vucinic along the baseline. Tries to hit a cutting Tomlin, and he's fouled by Henry. And so a great free throw shooter will head to the stripe to shoot 1-1. And we will step aside. It continues to get more and more tense here down the stretch. A 3-point game. Tomlin to the line when we come back. Don't go anywhere. It's been a night for him. It has not gone as well as he wants in terms of shooting, as he is 0 for 5 from the field, but now it's this free throw. He's 0 for 6 from the field, actually, but does have 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He's been defending hard. He's still contributing to his team.
He's contributing and doing those things that really don't always come up in the box. But again, his strength is scoring. So if Weber State wants to make a run here at the end, he's got to get involved somehow.
A 2-point game here tonight. Redfield over to home. They go into the post here. Tillis pumping and backing on Burgess. Stops in the paint, spins the other way. And a foul. The players all started to walk the other way, thinking a travel had been called. The foul was called here on Burris. But the way all the players, including Tillis, he started to walk away was as if they anticipated a travel.
He thought he turned the ball over.
It's like that batter who thought it was strike 3 walks back in the box. The jumper from home, no good. Plays 3.
He got poked in the eye a little bit there.
Hit in the face. He'll recollect. Weber State with a chance to tie or take the lead here. It's 3. Right to the rack, no good. And Vucinic with the putback.
That's a great follow. Again, I've been impressed what he has done off the bench, coming in for Alex Chu, who's been in foul trouble. Again, this is the best game he's had so far, and if you're a Wildcat fan, you want him to keep that up.
The senior from Montenegro with 12. We are tied at 69. Leuston with an extra step, bucket, and the foul, and the Weber State bench is furious.
Again, we see this all game long. Wildcats come down, they finally tied up. They feel like they're going to get over the hump, and then what do the Anteaters do? They come back down. Now they're getting an and one. They always respond, and that's the sign of a good team.
But his strength and power to finish there through contact and at the rim, his ability to change speeds, he's really fun to watch in person. He now has 20 points tonight. Leuston has been terrific. From the line tonight, 5 for 8. And Leuston will put his team back up by 3.
Let's see if the Wildcats can respond here. Again, back and forth battle. It's going to be like this till the very end. We're getting into crunch time, or what they call a winning time, which is under 5 minutes.
Both teams in the bonus. Tomlin around the screen to Vucinic. Looks for the mid-range, can't get it, goes to Koehler, 3, back inside to Vucinic. He has been marvelous all night long. He's doubled, he throws across the river for Hennig, he recovers, drives it, tries to give it off inside. It's out of bounds to Weber State. They have 1 second on the shot clock. And you don't know how long that one is.
No, you don't. That could be one on the shot clock, but maybe only 0.5 seconds. So Weber State's got to get something quick. They want something going to the rim, so it can just be really a tip in or just a catch and shoot really quick.
Could be one. Vucinic gets it off. Just miss. Leuchten a rebound. For Leuchten tonight, that's his 8th. Koehler guarding against Justin Hone. Will now go to Leuchten. Back it down on Vucinic. Turns to the baseline. Muscles inside, no good. Oh boy, this battle in the paint continues to be a great one.
That was a great battle. Wildcat got lucky when he gets that ball that deep. He doesn't miss too many of those.
Now the Bigs battle on the other side. 3, a chance to tie. No. Tillis grabs the rebound. That's his 8th.
I think Blaze 3 was surprised at how open he was. I think that was his best look of the night. And again, those open looks don't come very often.
An arm bar on the post up. Tomley's called for the foul, and that is the correct call. It'll be 1-1 when we come back. UC Irvine up 72-69, 3:46 to go. We have a great finish to this one here on ESPN+. Oh, yeah, dude, he was
he?
hooked and happy. I mean, it was like, I'm like, you have to call this.
Yeah,
You have to call
yeah.
this.
Now coming down to the wire. This is a game time right now. He doesn't want the guys to give up offensive rebounds. And so if you're Weber State, you're boxing out, getting those defensive boards so you can get shots down at the other end. And I think, too, execution. The Anteaters, they have tremendous defense. If you're the Wildcats, you need to really execute down the stretch and get good shots.
Tillis, a perfect 7 for 7 at the free throw line so far this year. Defending without fouling is going to be oh so important against the Anteaters. This Anteaters team, one of the 10 best free throw shooting teams in the country. They're 14 for 18 tonight now, and a 5-point lead. Tomley over to Blaze 3. Hennig throws up high. It's caught by Vucinic. He gives to 3. 3 back to Hennig. And what a poke away and a steal by Hone. He'll take it all the way to the rim. Can't get it. The follow-up is there by Devin Tillis. It's the timely plays from so many players on that roster.
It's the timely plays when you think Weber State's going to come back into the game. There's always an answer. And down 7 now, in a game like this, that 7 points, it almost feels more like 10.
Blaze 3 is fouled, even though he missed on that jumper there. He'll shoot 2.
So Wildcats, if they're going to want to get back into the game, there's 3 minutes left. They're going to have to knock down free throws. And like you mentioned, defend without fouling, which can be tough to do, especially with a team like the Anteaters who make their free throws. They'll have to really defend, get rebounds without fouling.
Blaze 3, as you mentioned, recent performance for him, a career high and one that he was proud of, but he misses on this free throw attempt. 3 has been a great free throw shooter so far this year at 12 for 14 coming into tonight. However, he is 0 for 3 this evening. And goes 0 for 4. And you heard the groan of the crowd here at the D Event Center, because with 3 minutes left in a 3-possession game, you feel the Anteaters using that experience and that expertise to start to close it down. Hone surveying the floor, takes the screen from Leuchten, launches and gives his team a 10-point lead. the graduate from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with a big-time shot with some money on the table. Tomley looking for his first field goal. Long as he shoots over the rebound to Loyston. Loyston now with 9 rebounds, and you can feel the way this team starts to close down games. It's about to happen here.
Yep, and that was a tough stretch for the Wildcats. A 5-point swing, missed 2 free throws at one end, give up a 3 at the other. And we talked about this at the beginning. One of the keys to the Wildcats is finish strong, and so they're making it tough on themselves right now.
Blowing a tire was Henry, but he gets it to Loyston, who finishes. The lead is back to a dozen. That matches their biggest of the night. 2 minutes to go. 3 badly in need of a bucket. He's fouled. He'll earn a trip to the line here. What a sequence for the Anteaters of UC Irvine. You can see their experience. You can see how connected they are and how big of a difference it makes during winning time.
It does, and during winning time, the good teams do the little things that it takes to close out a game, make free throws, get stops on defense, come up with those loose balls. And again, with Blaze 3 missing a free throw there, that's something the Wildcats, you can see how the difference where you have a team that has 10 guys returning that have that continuity, and then another team who has the talent but just don't have the experience playing together. It kind of shows in winning time when those little details matter.
Timeout here for Weber State. Russell Turner, 4-time Big West Coach of the Year. We know about the championship experience with this group as well. You can tell with the focus and the fire that they have had coming into this game today.
Yeah.
They have big expectations to be great in March. Now, you can't stamp a team in November.
No.
But you can feel they are trying to perfect the habits as best as possible. They take every inch personally.
They do. And again, that's why they're 4-0. That's why they're undefeated. They've played some pretty good teams, Pepperdine, LMU. So they've been tested a little bit, and each time they've rose to the occasion. And so you're seeing those. And this doesn't just happen this year. This is years of these guys playing together and building that chemistry. That's what it takes. And again, with the Wildcats, they need to eventually get there, but they are going to go through some of these early growing pains as they build that. And so, games like this, close games like this that really test your mettle, this is what you want at the beginning of the season.
Good work out of the full court pressure here from the Anteaters. As Redfield throws across for Hone. Hone will take some more time off the clock. Shot clock at 15. Hone has been in control here tonight. The timely offensive and defensive plays. Hone has 14 points to go with 6 assists. He's looking for another big offensive moment here. He has it taken away. Tomlin, one-on-one defensively against Tillis, and a foul is called against Tillis. It will put Tomlin at the free throw line. What are the things you learn as a team in Weber State's position in a game like this against a team like that?
You learn what you need to do to play at that level. So if I'm Weber State, I'm looking at the little things the Anteaters are doing down the stretch to have them up by 11 points. And that's something, as a team, you want to be able to do. And with Weber State, it's going to take time. I think they'll get there, but they're going to go through those early growing pains with a new team, a lot of new guys. The big thing is Weber State wants to be playing and doing these small little things at the right time.
Miguel Tomlin. 5 points tonight, all with free throws. Now with 6. He's 5 of 6 from the stripe. And Che is going to come in here. Hone is going to stay in the game. Coming out is going to be Redfield. Hone looked like he might have been a little shaken up. Sadiq Moore in for Weber State.
I think Coach Duff is doing a little defense-offense substitution with Sadiq Moore and Miguel Tomlin.
Hone catches the inbound along the sideline. Loose ball. And it's grabbed beautifully by Henry. Ahead to Loyston for a two-hand jam. Loyston now with 25 points on the night. Koehler answers with a 3. Much needed for Weber State. The hill is still a big one to climb, but they get a timely bucket.
It's closer, but they're going to have to get some stops and some quick threes just like that if they're going to want to have any chance.
It's pulled out of bounds. It will stay with UC Irvine. We'll get the shot clock fixed up here. Actually, they were signaling that they have 7 seconds to get it across the timeline. Shade inbound. Goes to home. They have 3 timeouts to work with. He threw it away. And Blaze 3 is blocked by Leuston. At the rim, either side, he's been the guy to make the key play, but they got the takeaway they needed. They weren't able to get the score.
And things have to go almost perfectly. You get the takeaway, but you know, that's a bucket. And I'm sure Blaze 3's a chance he'd like to have back right there.
I'm surprised he attempted that pass, though, with the timeouts they have to work with 3 of them, and running out of time to get it across the timeline. There were a number of things working against UC Irvine there, but they had timeouts to go with. But they were fortunate. Weber State did not get a bucket out of that takeaway. And now, free throws here coming for Leuston. And it'll be 1-1.
Now, if you're Weber State, you want to expect a miss. That's what you're doing. You need to box out, and then if you get the rebound, you got to go. You have to go. First good shot, whether it's a 2 or a 3, they need to score quickly.
Leuston 6 for 9 at the free throw line tonight. He has had a tremendous evening. His last rebound was his 10th. He now has 26 points with that free throw right there. Leuston has been magnificent on both ends. His physicality, but also that touch to go with it as well. 3 blocks along with his now 27 points, 10 rebounds. 7 of 10 from the stripe. Deep 3, Koehler. Got it!
Oh, wow.
Dyson Koehler has been magnificent from the outside. Keep away here for a moment. Now the Anteaters moving up the court. Reverse layup is good from Andre Henry. Answer on the other end, no. Put back, yes. It's Burris.
So that's what you want from Weber State, 2 quick scores, but they got to get stops at the other end, which is proving very challenging with the Anteaters.
Well, you have to really tip your hat to the spacing they've been able to put together while breaking that press, not just to get it across the timeline. They're not playing careful. They know how to space out, get down the floor, and get something.
Yeah, they're attacking. They're not backing down from the press. They're attacking it. And anyone watching the game, that's what you want to do. You want to attack the press and expose the weaknesses, because anytime you press, there's always going to be weakness. And if you attack it, you can get through it again.
Weber State with 8 missed free throws. Blaze 3 nearly made it a 4-point possession. They come up empty, and Leuston is going to go back to the line.
Yeah, that's where you're really seeing the difference. Again, we've talked about this between a team who has that experience, who has played together, who's been doing those little things, and their record shows it. Weber State, again, missing some free throws down the stretch, not getting stops when they need to. Again, those are things I'm sure they'll work on and get better throughout the year, but you're just seeing a team that's already done some of that.
Well, when you're a 1-bid lead, there's a number of things you need to understand to become the team at the end, at the top, and it's knowing the standard. Last year, Montana State, that's what they continued to build towards. They were far from a tournament team all through November, December, January, you could even argue February. Boy, they turned it on at the right time because that standard never came down. Weber State learning those things piece by piece. We have a 5-point game, though, 27.1 to go. Hone in trouble, and he's going to be fouled.
And I think you made a good point there. In anything, there's no substitute to experience. The way you become that team at the end of the season is you have these tough games, you have those tough losses, and you learn from them. And that's what Weber State needs to do so they can continue to build.
Justin Hone approaching 1,000 points in his career. He's not going to get there tonight. But he is now 21 points away from 1,000. When you look at the box score, Moiston will jump out to you. Tillis, obviously, and so will Hone. But when you look at the most important plays in terms of timing, and when it swung the momentum back into their favor, this was the guy with the most important moments.
Yep. I mean, you look at that play right before halftime when Weber State, they battle back, and then they actually take the lead. And then what does he do? He hit the big three right at the buzzer before half, taking that momentum into halftime. And we saw that in the second half, too, when Weber State, every time Weber State made a run.
More stop away from putting this away, and Weber State badly in need of a bucket here. Plays 3. 17 points tonight. Floats it up and now has 19. Lead back down to 5. Hone on the inbound. Up the court they go. Here comes Henry. Leuchten is going to be fouled by Koehler. It'll be 2 free throws for Leuchten. You know, when you want to become the best version of yourself, there's nothing like being able to put it away with free throws. This team has been able to prove that all throughout the year.
Yeah.
Tonight, 18 for 23. It's actually below their season percentage of 81.6. But when you know that with any kind of a lead in those late moments, you can count on being reliable in this area. And it's going to pay out big later in the season.
And we just see that there, and that's the sign of a good, well-coached team. You do the little things, and I can't harp on enough. Free throws are the difference between so many games.
12.8 to go. Weber State down by 7. Threet will let this fly. He'll hit it to cut it to 4. Weber State just will not go.
They're not going away, and they won't go away.
Look out. Loose ball. And it goes to 3. Another 3. That's no good. And a loose ball foul will go against Weber State. Well, all of a sudden, things were looking
little
crazy.
drama there.
We're looking Reggie Miller-like there. However, this would have cut it down to 1 had he made that. And so 2 free throws the other way, and with just 1.3 to go, Weber State is not going to be able to mount the comeback, but they did not go away. They battled very tough. It's a great game tonight between 2 great teams who are going to have a lot to say when it comes to March.
Great game between 2 great teams that I think will end up finishing at the top of both their conferences. I think there's a good chance we see both of these teams come March. And again, Weber State, we've seen tonight, has a little more growth to do, gaining that experience. The Anteaters, they're already there. They just want to continue what they're building on. Weber State, I think they'll get there. It's going to take a little bit more time.
For the first time in program history, the Anteaters of UC Irvine have defeated the Weber State Wildcats. They come into Ogden in what was a great showcase between 2 teams in a fabulous battle in November. And the final score 93-87. Russell Turner's team comes into Ogden. They knew they would be tested. They were. They got off to a great start with a 12-0 advantage. They finished that first half so well, started the second half so well, and that's another great indication of a team that's familiar with each other, and they have that kind of depth and experience.
It is, and especially to come on the road to a tough place to play. It just shows their experience. And on the flip side, Weber State, again, put together a good game, just didn't finish down the stretch, and that was one of the keys to the game that unfortunately they weren't able to do for them. But again, I think they can build upon this. They have more work to do, but I think they'll get there.
Weber State was 13 for 25 from the outside, 12 of 20 from the free throw line. That certainly hurt them. And how about the Anteaters? 9 for 16